How to deal with negative emotions. This is obviously something that we do not get taught in school. This is something that we do not get taught by our parents, by the government, by society, by the media. And frankly, most of us have no fucking clue on how to deal with emotions. So most of us develop all these neurotic patterns and develop all these mental illnesses because we're constantly running away from these unpleasant emotions and not knowing what to do with them. And that's the biggest problem, is that we resist these negative emotions. We run away from them. We go from external stimulation to the next. We watch TV, we watch porn, we take drugs, we drink alcohol, we shop, we gamble. We do whatever we can to not sit by ourselves and have to deal with our shit. And hey, I used to do this all the time, and this just led me onto the road to hell. I got depressed, I got anxious, I was fucking miserable because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions, and I was constantly running away from them. And what happens when you run away from your emotions is that it just builds up constantly, right? Until it turns into this fucking huge Godzilla monster that you just can't slay because you've just waited way too long. And not dealing with your emotions will also bleed into other aspects of your life unconsciously. So dealing with your emotions is, one of the most important things you could do for your self-development. And the thing about emotions is that they're a feedback system from our bodies. Emotions are a form of communication, which our body is trying to tell us that something isn't right. Or if you want to look at it on a spiritual perspective, it's our higher self telling us that we're not aligned with our core values. And this is why it's really important to know your core values and know who you are. And a good way to know this is by using your emotions as a guide map. If something feels good, keep doing it. If something feels like shit, stop doing it. Pretty straightforward and simple, yet most people don't listen to their emotions. They listen to their head. So the first thing to do when a negative emotion does start to rise to the surface, don't just run away. Don't just look for the nearest thing like your phone and just do whatever you can to not sit by yourself and deal with your emotions. So don't resist it. This is what causes so much suffering. You want to be free flowing. You want it to be smooth. You don't want this huge resistance, this huge troll in the way, and then the emotion's going to push through it regardless of whether you want to deal with it or not. The question is, do you want to deal with it while it's this little monster, or do you want to deal with it until it grows into Godzilla? Up to you. So first of all, sit with it. Do not react to the emotion. Observe it. Be conscious of it. Be aware of where it is on your body, where it's coming from, why are you feeling this emotion. But really sit there and meditate on it. Completely experience the emotion. If you need to cry, fucking cry. Emotions is what makes us human. And there's this whole spectrum. We can't just experience all the positive emotions and completely ignore the negative ones, right? We gotta physically release it. Dealing with emotions is not something that we can do with our minds, yeah? Our mind isn't gonna get you out of this. You have to physically release it because emotions are stored in the body, not the mind. So if you're feeling sad and you feel like crying, fucking cry. Seriously. If you feel angry and pissed off, scream. Go lay into a punching bag. Do whatever you can to just physically release it. As we've gotten older, we've just learnt to numb ourselves and not deal with these things. I mean, just observe a kid. They're like our greatest teachers. Remember when you were a kid and you used to have a tantrum, you used to be pissed off and you used to just scream and you used to literally shake and jump up and down and scream and cry. And then 10 minutes later, you'd be completely fine. Whereas now adults, we tend to just hold on to that emotion, right? And we'll be fucking bitter. We won't talk to someone for 20 years because they owe us money. It's fucking ridiculous. And if you understand the dichotomy of nature, you'll understand that experiencing all these negative emotions is going to open up the gateway to more joy into your life. I mean, just think about it. Think about the last time you've had a really good cry, a really good one. And then afterwards, it's it's this huge relief, and then you feel fucking almost euphoric, man. And I get how many of us really struggle with this. I used to be so numb and so cold, and I would cut myself off from all emotions. And like I said in the beginning of the video, it just led me onto the road to hell because all these emotions was just stacking up internally and kind of manifesting themselves in other ways, and it wasn't really fun. And you know what? I get it. I know how hard and scary it can be from dealing with your emotions. I get how terrifying it can be to actually sit and face yourself, like really face yourself. But it's the only way, especially if you want personal growth and you want to deal with these things once and for all. You gotta experience it. You gotta physically release it. Your mind ain't gonna get you out of this one. So yeah guys, that's pretty much the bulk of it. I'm just gonna wrap this video up. But just to clarify, when I say to experience your emotion and physically release, this does not mean that you should react to every emotion that comes up. It's about stepping out and looking at it as objectively as you can. So it's all about learning how to navigate in those waters. Because if you don't know how to swim in the emotional body, you can get lost. Those waters can be extremely rough and can take you to places you don't want to go. So it's really important to know how to swim and learn how to navigate. So deal with your emotions as soon as they do come up. And again, with a lot of these self-help segments, this may not be the answer that you are looking for, but again, it's the only way. You can't grow just sitting in your comfort zone. You got to do things that are going to challenge you, that is going to give you adversity. And you know what? Dealing with negative emotions isn't as scary as you might think. It's quite beautiful once you actually release it. Trust me, you'll feel amazing afterwards. So give yourself permission to just sit there and experience the emotion. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Thanks for those who've watched this far, and I really hope that you got something out of this video and got some value that you can apply to your everyday life. And for those who haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. There's content that comes out weekly. And give this video a like and share it with a friend. It really does help us out. And for those who've been supporting me on Patreon, thank you guys so much. You guys are fucking amazing. And for those who want to check out what Patreon's all about, I've left the link in the description below. Go check it out if you want. Have an awesome day, guys. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.